Hello, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in to our Spring 2022 virtual information session. We decided to make it virtual this year to accommodate all of your busy schedules and so you all can watch the UCG info session on demand. So first, we're going to talk about our introduction. So my name is Taylor. I'm a sophomore actuarial science major in CLAS, and I am UCG's Director of Recruiting for this year.
Hi everyone, my name is Ish Panwar and I'm a junior finance major and I'm the managing director of UCG.
Hi everybody, my name is Sasha Goldblatt and I'm a senior management major with a music minor and the current director of diversity.
All right, thank you both, and we will get on to the slideshow. So we have a quick agenda for you all. We're going to do a welcome and what is UCG, how does consulting work, and then we'll talk about next steps if you're interested in our organization, which we all hope you are interested. And so first, I'm going to read out a quote that our founder of UCG, his name is Justin Lee, he's a UConn alumni. He created this quote to see why we wanted to make the consulting group. So he said, I knew I needed to do something to get me noticed, and I didn't want to just read about consulting. I wanted to do it. I wanted to advise clients on what they can do to make things better, and I knew it couldn't be the only one at UConn who felt this way. And this is really the pinnacle of what UCG is. We are an experiential learning organization on campus that we work with real clients, we do real work, and so that's what makes us unique. And also Justin is part of our large alumni network. You know, him and a lot of other people who have worked at a lot of different companies really help UCG students achieve their goals in their desired fields, and that is really important to us. And so now I'll move on to what is UCG?
Taylor. So over the next couple of slides, I'll talk about what UCG is, kind of starting with our mission statement. So as you can see on this slide, the mission of the UConn Consulting Group is to educate, train, facilitate the growth of high achieving students with the ultimate goal of putting UCG members in high performing jobs in their desired fields. We do this through consulting project work, which will help develop critical thinking and problem solving skills in all UCG members. So through our mission statement, we state very clearly that you don't necessarily have to be interested in going into a consulting related profession. We have members that range anywhere from being in healthcare to investment banking to private equity, and we have a variety of interests across the group, and that's really what helps make us special. On the next slide, here we kind of we describe various opportunities that you can get through UCG. So our goals as a group are to stimulate high performance experiences. And often we do this through working with real consultants, as Taylor mentioned. We also engage in tough, challenging real world projects. So clients will often come to us and they'll mention a problem with profitability or mention a problem with their go-to-market strategy, and we'll work with our alumni to advise them on the best strategies. And finally, we enable students to build skills, experience, and connections. So beyond just working with real clients, we are all friends and we love to hang out and challenge each other. Often we do this through some book clubs, or we'll have other challenging conversations with our alumni to really grow our understanding of the world around us. On the next slide, we talk a little bit about the characteristics that we look for in members. So most importantly, what really resonates with many people across our group is our drive. We provide all the necessary information that you need to succeed, but we're not going to do the work for you. It's kind of on you to do the work and take advantage of the resources that are offered to really grow yourself as an individual during your time in the group. And finally, we really look for someone with a willingness and an ability to learn. We want curious and talented individuals who are interested in kind of pushing the status quo and challenging the world around them. So through this, we really are able to have, we really value diversity of thought and experience as well. As Sasha, our director of diversity, often challenges us as well. We really look for individuals that have diversity in their majors and their interests and are willing to bring forward their ideas to make the group better. So at large, as Justin mentioned, if we go back to the previous slide really quick, as Justin mentioned, we want students that make an immediate impact and utilize problem-solving skills to create and add value to the team. So here we kind of have an overview of our network at large and our current students. So as you can see, our interests vary from traveling to trivia to reading to music. We're not just a bunch of people interested in only consulting. We have an incredible amount of diversity across the group that we're really proud of. We've also had various internship experiences throughout our network. So our alumni and current students have had positions at Citi, at Deloitte, at Tesla, at AQR. So we're really excited and grateful for all of those experiences that have helped contribute in a meaningful way to our project work. And finally, in terms of career aspirations, we're not just students interested in consulting. We also have some finance related and accounting related interests, as well as some other interests aside from consulting. In terms of our alumni network and our advisors on the projects, they've gone to top MBA programs across the country, as you can see here, and they work in the top consulting firms and firms outside of consulting across the industry. So consulting specific, we have alumni at BCG, at Bain, at McKinsey, but we also have alumni at very high top tier private equity firms such as Vista and others too. So on the next slide, we kind of share a little bit more about our alumni network. And personally for me, this is kind of one of my favorite aspects of the group. If you're a part of our group, our alumni are here to support you in unconditional ways. We've had many students graduate from the group as a result of direct opportunities from alumni. So our alumni will often utilize our Slack channel, which is our main mode of communication, to throw out internship opportunities, recruitment information, career fair dates, and also job openings. And our alumni are here to support you through mentorships, through answering any questions you have, and our Slack platform actually makes them very accessible. And throughout your time in the network, you'll actually begin to develop really meaningful relationships with the alumni. And that's something that's helped a lot of us grow throughout our time here as well. On the next slide. So here we talk just a little bit about what we have to offer our members. As you can see here, we'll offer a 4-week analyst onboarding program. So in this program, we'll teach you everything you need to know to be successful in the group. We don't expect individuals to come in with this knowledge. We'll actually go through and train you in terms of what you need to do to be successful in the group. And that can come in the form of PowerPoint presentation skills, Excel skills, as well as some other research management tools we use throughout our project work. We also offer career prep. So we'll talk about some talking points in interviews, and we'll connect you to our alumni so that you're able to establish mentor relationships with them and ask them questions through about professional opportunities. And we also like to have a lot of fun, and we're really proud of that. So we have a huge work hard, play hard mentality. And we have a ton of social events, parties, team building activities that we'll take. I think just last year alone, we took 2 trips. We went to Vermont as a team, and then we also went to Newport. So for a couple of days, which was awesome. And we also took some other trips. So we went to go visit our alumni in Boston and a couple other opportunities to get to know each other in our network a little bit better. So this slide kind of encompasses some of the past projects we've gotten to work on. As you can see on these slides, we have a variety of projects that we've gotten to touch. Currently, we're working on a project in the healthcare industry and another one that's more so in the consumer space. But formerly, we've worked at a fintech startup, a professional nonprofit, a manufacturing giant, and a local nonprofit. I'll let you read the descriptions on this slide, but feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about our project work. Now I'm going to throw it over to Sasha to talk about how consulting works.
Thank you, Ish. So we've talked about what the group does a little bit, but what exactly is consulting itself? This was a term that when I had joined the group as a freshman, I hadn't even heard before. So totally understand if this is a concept that you may not be familiar with, but in short, consulting solve problems using frameworks. And this is something that, we can get to a little bit later during the case boot camp. But this is essentially a way to break down a problem. So you see, for example, here's a framework for profit. And what you are trying to do is have buckets that don't overlap and also that exhaust all of your possible options. So what I mean by that is profit can only be broken down into cost and revenue. These 2 buckets don't overlap with each other as they're 2 completely different entities. And they can also be broken down even further. So you see For example, under cost, there's the number of units and the cost per units. And for the cost per unit, it's broken down even further into fixed and variable. Revenue is broken down into price and volume. Again, none of these buckets overlap with each other, and they exhaust all possible options under each bucket. This is a simple framework that is used to solve problems when we are dealing with a profitability issue with our clients. So this is an example of a question that you may be asked a framework. So for example, how can I spend my Friday night in stores? What you want to do here is figure out one overarching category and then break it down into those subcategories that don't overlap and also exhaust all of your possible options for that bucket. So just take a moment here, pause and brainstorm for a minute or two. How can you spend your Friday night in stores? And this is how we solved out the problem. So Friday night options is the overarching idea, and the two subcategories here are to go out or to stay in. You can't do both of those, so they are completely separate from each other. And those are the only two options that you really have. So to go out, you can go out in stores or you can go elsewhere. And we've listed some possible locations that would be under those categories. And for staying in, we listed some activities that you could do from your own home. So this encompasses all parts of the question and answers it very thoroughly. And this is why consultants use a framework to solve problems.
Thank you, Sasha and Ish, for explaining more about UCG and about how consulting works. Now, if you sound really interested in the group, if you think, wow, this is really awesome, I really want to get involved, which is what we all hope you think right now, we're going to go over some next steps on how you can join our organization. So here's a list of attributes we look for in our candidates during interviews. So as you can see on the left side of the slide here, we have 3 different interviews, such as an individual case interview, a group case interview, and a fit interview. A case interview is when you're given a problem from your interviewer, and through a way of analysis and looking at graphs and using frameworks and asking questions, you get to solve the problem in your own way. And you do one on your own and one in the group, as you see on the left. A fit interview is your more typical behavioral interview that, you know, if you're going for a job at an ice cream shop, something like that you may encounter, just a typical interview that asks about your experiences and your personality. And on the right here, we have some overarching themes that we look for in our candidates, such as professionalism, open to thought, and personability. And you can read the rest of the slide to see what else we look for, such as creative thinking, mental math, business acumen. But if you're not familiar with business acumen because you're not a business major, that's totally okay. In our case bootcamp, which I'll explain more on the next slide, in our office hours and our math hour, you can learn a lot more about business acumen. And we also provide outside resources for you to learn more about that as well. So overall, we provide a lot of resources for you all to succeed in these interviews. So here's our timeline for the recruiting process. You have to apply online by February 14th at 11:59 p.m. The way you can do that is going to our website, uconconsulting.org, click on the Join tab, and there should be a Google form inviting you to apply. And also you attach your resume and your LinkedIn if you have it, and overall you have some questions that you write and that are reviewed. And Case Prep Bootcamp, which is what I was referring to before, we teach you all about the different types of frameworks. We teach you a little bit more in more detail than in the information session slide deck that we're presenting today, how to do a framework and how to solve a case. You also will have tiny opportunities and a larger opportunity at the end to solve frameworks on your own. And so this is actually not optional this year. Bootcamp is required for you to participate in our Super Day process. And so extra case practice is indeed optional. So these are office hours where you get to practice cases or your fit interview. And you can also have coffee chats with current members, or it's just a more casual basis, maybe hop on a Zoom call or go out for dinner or coffee and get to know us on a more personal basis. And it also allows us to get to know more about you. And UCG Super Days, February 27th. This is the day where we interview all of our applicants. And in total, you'll be interviewing for 1.5 hours because each interview is 30 minutes long. Selected applicants will have second round interviews virtually with our alumni. And during your alumni interview, it's a short video fit and case interview. And so this is subject to change as needed, and any changes will be communicated to all applicants in advance.
Thanks, Taylor. Just one more thing I'd like to add on the previous slide. Just a couple questions we always get when we're sharing this slide with people and sharing the timeline especially is, for the paper application, a LinkedIn is not required. So if you do not have a LinkedIn and you don't belong to the School of Business and that's not something that's been a particular focus, that is no problem at all. Just feel free to either leave that blank or just write that it doesn't apply to you. And then just as Taylor mentioned, just to reinforce, our boot camp is mandatory and it's required. However, if you do have extraneous circumstances or know of a conflict in advance, I ask that you please communicate that to us now, even if the deadline hasn't yet passed, so that we're able to make note on our end. And then finally, just please be sure to mark that Super Day date. That is going to be one of the most important dates that you want to stay tuned to. And please reach out to us with any questions about any of these processes.
Thank you, Ish, for those clarification points, and thank you all for watching. Feel free to reach out to us at our email listed on the screen with any questions.
Thanks, everyone. We look forward to reviewing your applications.